Not exactly the finish to the Chicago roadie the Giants wanted, and now they are going to be going into now they're going to be going into Denver needing a win in the worst way possible. This is Giants Roundup. You can follow on Twitter. And of course, you can subscribe to the Crook and Kite page. And most importantly, please be kind and hit that subscribe button. Not exactly oops. And please be kind and hit that subscribe button. Not exactly a good night. No, this was not a good loss. And now we're talking about possibly Madison Bumgarner needing to be fast tracked back to the Giants Friday, which, I don't know if that's exactly the greatest idea. But let's get to the game first. It started off okay. Both pitchers weren't great tonight. Tyler Chatwood gives up 3 earned, walks 5 in 2 2/3 innings pitched. Ty Block was not any better. 3 innings pitched, 5 earned runs. And then Pierce Johnson was a gas can tonight. 3 earned in 3 innings pitched, and his ERA is now at 6.26. And the biggest concern to me about Ty Block is this is the third start in a row he was not able to go 4 innings. Last 2 starts he went 4, and tonight he goes 3. This really has to be concerning. And the big question is how much can Madison Bumgarner help them? It'll help them to an extent, but now the real question is do you send down Andy Suarez, or do you possibly send down Pierce Johnson? And after tonight's start, I think it's going to be Pierce Johnson going back to the minors. I think we're actually needing probably Ty Block needs to go to the bullpen at this point. He can't get you innings, and he's better off being your guy eating innings out of the pen at this point if he can't get you 5 innings. He's not been able to go 5 innings the last 3 games. And what really makes me think that he's not going to be able to when he returns. We'll get back to that in a second. Started off promising when Panda singles to score Brandon Belt to make it 1-0, and then the Mack truck with a single to deep right to score Longoria to Crawford, and the Giants actually had a 3-0 lead at that point of the game. And then everything went downhill after that. The Rockies, the Cubbies, Chris Bryant gets a double to score Almora. Then Rizzo reaches on to make it 3-1. Rizzo reaches on a single to score Bryant 3-2. Addison Russell reaches on a single to score Rizzo to make it 3-3. And then then Ty Block went to shit in the 4th inning. Was not able to get anybody out. But this is where the shit hit the fan was Pierce Johnson gives up a home run to Javi Baez. That would end up being the killer in that game. That made it 6-3. And what was worse is Javi Baez was able to hit a home run in all 3 games of this series. Not good. So he's had our ownage on us this whole series. And then the Cubs add 2 more in the 5th inning when LaStella singles to score Hayward, and then Almora scores. LaStella hits doubles the score Lestelle to make it your final of 8-3. But the pitching wasn't great. And now the real question is, how much is Bumgarner? He should help things, that absolutely. But my real question is bringing back Bumgarner Friday maybe a little too soon? And you know what? After tonight's game, I really would have preferred maybe Bumgarner get one more rehab start in San Jose and then activating him next Tuesday against the D-backs. But nobody's been able to get innings. None of the starters have been able to get any innings. And now the bullpen is starting to look fatigued. This is really becoming concerning. I mean, Ty Block, he's gonna. I really think at this point I'd rather keep Suarez up, send down Pierce Johnson, have Ty Block pitch out of the bullpen. He can't get you innings. Maybe Stratton could be turning a corner. We'll see. At least Stratton, if we can get some consistency out of him. Andy Suarez, still an unknown factor. Maybe we'll still give him a few more opportunities to go through his ups and downs until Johnny Cueto returns. And it looks like we might get some good news there. It looks like Johnny Cueto could start rehabbing soon. We're starting to hear some. I think we've got some good news out of Johnny Cueto. Looks like Cueto's going to resume throwing. And then if the throwing sessions go well, hopefully he'll be able to start a rehab assignment sometime by the end of June. Hopefully that could, but definitely getting Bumgarner back is going to help things a bit. But it can't be all Bumgarner. I mean, Samardzija, we need him to start being. I mean, Samardzija continues to get pounded most of his starts. I'm waiting for him to turn a corner. And you know what? Derek Holland actually has not been too terribly bad in his starts. He just can't get the run support when he starts. So this is a problem. And what's worse is there's not a lot of trade chips out there to acquire a starter. You're going to have to probably you're going to have to maybe ship out Sam Dyson in order to get some salary room there. And you may have to unload somebody like Steven Duggar, who is not going to make it on who I don't think is going to be on the Giants' September call-ups this year at this rate. Or the other possible trade chip is right now hurt, that'd be Chris Shaw. You're going to have to find some way to acquire somebody like a Dan Straley, or worse, do something the Giants, the front office doesn't normally like doing if you're going to acquire a starter. That is possibly a rental. Might be J.A. Happ. Might be Kevin Gausman. One of those two guys that normally the Giants don't like trading for rentals. But with the farm as shit as it is, or maybe trade somebody you normally wouldn't trade, maybe Sean Anderson, Tyler Beatty. I don't know if a lot of teams will take a flyer on Beatty at this point. But you're going to have to get really creative in order to trade somebody to get you. And it's likely you're going to have to acquire a rental. It's a lot of the starters that have team control. I just don't think the Giants can afford. Archer, that's a pipe dream. I kind of think Archer is going to probably head to Milwaukee at the trade deadline. And then you've got Then after that, Cole Hamels, and I think he's going to go back to Philadelphia if the rumors are right about that. Then it's Dan Straley. Straley's got some team control. He might be had at a reasonable price with Miami having a fire sale. But after that, the rest of the trades are rentals. Kevin Gausman. Gausman's probably a rental for is a rental for teams. You got Tyson Ross for that's another rental. But I think the Giants are going to be relegated to acquiring a back end starter that's going to be a rental. And it might they're just going to have to work around the edges. But you could say the same thing about Chicago. Their pitching's not been great this year. Who Darvish has struggled this year for the Cubs. Catwood hasn't been great. It's mainly been Hendricks and Lester this year. Chicago's pitching's not been great either. They've been having to rely on their hitting. Almora going 3 for 5. Baez, Bryant. They don't have, and they took a gamble on who Darvish, who's not exactly been lighting the world on fire in Chicago this year. So the Cubs, they may be shooting for the wild card at this rate. As I look at the Central, Chicago is already 4.5 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers. And crazy thing is, I think the Brewers could be the front runners to land Chris Archer. If the Brewers can get somebody like Archer at the deadline, I truly think Milwaukee could be the team to run away with the NL Central this year. And you got St. Louis, a team that's certainly not going to go away anytime soon. I think the Giants, they've kind of been lucky at a point right now. They're 3 games back of Colorado. It could easily be 6 by the time they get back from Coors Field at this rate. And the Giants just don't have never really done well in Denver. And now LA winning today, they're just half a game out of leapfrogging us. It's a reality. We could be fourth, really in fourth place by the time we get out of Denver. And we don't know how much really Madison Bumgarner is actually going to be able to move the needle. And the schedule doesn't get that much easier when you go back home either. I mean, yes, you do get. But today it was all Gorkas Hernandez, 2 for 5. Brandon Crawford. Mac Truck went 1 for 4 today. And hopefully Buster Posey will be good to go on Tuesday. Good to go tomorrow. And this is a situation too. If Posey can't go soon, maybe you call up Hector Sanchez, carry 3 catchers. But there's just and the Giants aren't catching any breaks until mid-September, mid-June, excuse me. I go to Denver that'll be another ESPN game tomorrow in Denver. We get 3 against the Rockies. That will be a 4 o'clock game tomorrow on ESPN, and ESPN nationally and NBC Sports Bay Area in Northern California. It should be blacked out on ESPN. Then you go home, you get Philadelphia, who has been pretty good this year. Then you get Arizona. That might be your break in the schedule before you go back on the road. And you get the Nationals. That's not going to be easy there. You go to Miami, and of course, Miami's never been easy for the Giants. Then you go to the Dodge LA, and LA has been a lot better as of late since Turner's been back in the lineup, and Walker Bueller has been good. So not a lot of breaks there. That it does get easy towards the end of June when you get the Marlins and the Friars, but still, I mean, still, you could really find yourselves out of it by then. But you do get a lot of home games after June, though. You're not really going to have to go hit the Eastern time zone, which is great until August when you go to Cincinnati and Queens. So you do get a 2 month window there where you're not going to be going to the Eastern or Central time zones after mid June. But also, it could be too little too late by then. I mean, by then you could be, worst case scenarios, you do fall out of it. Say LA does start making a run at the division. By then, you could be, instead of trying to acquire pitching, you could be forced to sell. This is something that certainly the front office doesn't like doing. The front office is not a fan of rebuilding. But if you do fall 6 games out of it and you do not and it does not get any better when Bumgarner returns, you have to maybe think about trading Brandon Belt and getting a nice package of prospects back. Really, there's not that much hope, and there's not a lot besides Austin Slater in the farm right now. The farm is not looking good this year, and it might be time to restock with prospects. Brandon Belt could bring you something back. You certainly could trade Joe Panic, get a few prospects back for him. Hunter Strickland, if they were to trade a Hunter Strickland for prospects, could you imagine what the return could be for Hunter Strickland? Bullpen's always in demand at the deadline. Tony Watson can bring you back something. Sam Dyson. So it could reach the point where you start tearing down it could reach that point by mid June. If you really start falling out of it, you really have to start thinking about rebuilding, which unfortunately means parting ways with Bochy. Bochy's going to be a Hall of Famer, certainly for that. He has our 3 rings, and I'm thankful for it. But I think the modern game might have passed the Giants. You look at teams that they've recently played: Houston, Chicago. These were all teams that tanked for a few years, and these are analytics teams. We are getting killed by the analytics teams this year. I mean, Houston, what's scary about Houston is they're better this year than they were last year. They're a deeper team. They've got a really deep farm in Houston. And I've seen that living in Fresno. They've got a really good AAA team with the Grizzlies this year. And there's not a lot of and a lot of the prospects that the Giants have called up have flamed out. Likely that Derek Law is going to be on his way out DFA very soon. Josh Osich is likely going to be gone. And then they called up DJ Smelton. He's struggled since a lot of the youngsters have just not been good this year. And so it might, realistically, I could really see a situation if they do fall out of it where I could see Bochy and the Giants parting ways after this year. Certainly, I could see a situation where Larry Bear makes Bobby Evans the scapegoat, and you see a situation similar to what the 49ers did a couple years ago when they let Trent Baalke go, and nobody on this current Giants coaching staff returns. You could see a completely new coaching staff next year, a brand new GM, if they go embrace the rebuild in analytics. it might hurt for a few years, but you know what? I think the front office didn't really ruin the farm for the next 5 years, and I don't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. There could, especially if Bumgarner decides to walk, and I just don't know. We'll let the games play out first before we really start thinking of it, but you could really start thinking about this situation by the middle of June. This is a realistic situation. Is it could be time for a clean break for the Giants. This is something that I suffered through with the 49ers. And you know what? Worst part is the Giants fans have really gotten spoiled on winning. And this is very similar to what the 49er faithful experienced in the early 2000s after Steve Mariucci left, the winning stopped. And fans were just so spoiled on winning, they just did not know what to do when it became a losing culture. And I think for the Giants, we could be a month away from talking, maybe 2, 3 weeks away from potentially talking about either we're buying, making a run for it, or if we are talking about possibly culture change next season, and a very long rebuild. And it could be as bad as what Philadelphia has suffered the last few years. With all there's just not a lot to get me excited in the farm right now. This is some bitter pills to swallow right now. But here's your probables against Colorado. It's tomorrow. It will be Andy Suarez against Chad Bettis. So that's not going to be easy for there. That could be David versus Goliath there in game one. And the next after that, but if there's any saving graces, Colorado's not been good at home this year. And then game two on the 29th will be Jeff Samardzija against Kyle Freeland. And that's a game where you really have to hope that Samardzija can get you some innings. And then maybe the winnable game might be Holland versus Grays. John Gray's not had a great year in Denver, but I really realistically maybe see the Giants only getting one game of that series. So you're looking at possibly a 2-8 road trip, which is not great. And then you got to hope hope that Bumgarner could be ready to go on your next homestand. I mean, we'll find out though sooner or later if it's going to be too little, too late or not. But this is some tough pills to swallow. But we do have a trade to announce tonight too. It looks like Phil Hughes got traded to the San Diego Padres for cash considerations. And what Minnesota gets back in return is Janikson Villalobos, cash considerations, and a draft pick. Wow. So definitely a rehabilitation project for the Friars there. Now let's go to the MLB Roundup for today. The Yankees beat the Angels 3-1. Your winning pitcher Masahiro Tanaka, your losing pitcher Garrett Richards only survives 2 1/3 innings, gives up 3 earned. Brett Gardner goes 3 for 4 for the Bombers today. The Braves slaughter the Red Sox 7-1, so we do have a two-way tie for first place. Mike Foltynewicz takes the win, and no, it was no Sale for Chris Sale today. 6 earned in 4 1/3 innings pitched. Kurt Suzuki goes 3 for 5 for the Braves today. And Chris Sale gives up 6 earned in 4 1/3 innings pitched today. Foltynewicz, seven Ks, 1 earned in 7 innings pitched. And in a 14-inning thriller in Cleveland today, the Indians beat the Astros and win the series against the Astros today 10-9. Winning pitcher was Dan Otero. Your losing pitcher Brad Peacock, who gives up a game-winning home run. Cody out to Greg Allen, his first home run of the year, and it happens to be a game winner. Jose Altuve goes 4 for 6. And Evan Gattis with 2 home runs for the Astros today, up to 6 home runs on the year. And Garrett Cole, 3 earned in 7 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts, 3 earned by Eric Marshall without recording an out, which really killed a good outing by Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer strikes out 13 today for the Tribe. And Giles had a meltdown today. 3 earned without recording an out. His ERA balloons to 5.06. Will Harris, 2 earned without in 1/3 of an inning pitched. And Peacock, just a costly out. And now the Mariners are only 1 game back of Houston in the AL West. In Miami, the Nationals beat the Fish 5-2. Your winning pitcher, Steven Strasburg. Your losing pitcher, Eliezer Hernandez. 5 scoreless innings out of Strasburg, 8 strikeouts. Anthony Rendon goes 2 for 3 for the Nationals. It's his 5th home run of the year. And Bryce Harper, he might be hitting 232, but he hit his 16th home run of the year. Justin Bour, 2 for 4 with his 10th home run of the year. Hernandez, 2 earned in 5 innings pitched. Only earned run given. Wander Suero with an unearned run in 2/3 of an inning pitched. And Harlan Garcia, 3 earned in 2 innings pitched for Miami. The Rays beat the Orioles 8-3. Your winning pitcher, Vidal Nuno. Your losing pitcher, Kevin Gausman, 7 earned in 2 2/3 innings pitched. And his ERA goes up to 4.31 after today's game. Former Giant Sergio Romo gets the start. 3 earned in 1/3 of an inning pitched. Nuno, 3 scoreless innings. And Austin Pruitt gets a save pitching 5 2/3 innings strong. So Austin Pruitt definitely looks like one that could. And man, Gaussman was having control issues today too. He hit 3 batters. He hit Cron twice. Okay, Cron was hit twice, once by Gaussman, once by Wright. I wonder if the benches were worn today in that game. No warnings issued here in that game. Okay. And then the Tigers beat the White Sox 3-2. Your winning pitcher, Lane Hardy. Your losing pitcher, James Shields. Yolmer Sanchez goes 2 for 4 for the White Sox. And Hardy, 1 earned in 7 innings pitched. Shields, 3 earned in 7 innings. Usually a good outing, but just a tough break for Shields. But I definitely think he's got some good trade value for the White Sox this year for once. That's good for them. The Blue Jays beat the Phillies 5-3. Your winning pitcher, J.A. Happ. Your losing pitcher, Nick Pivetta. Devon Travis goes 2 for 3 for the Blue Jays today. Curtis Granderson hits his 4th home run of the year. And Happ strikes out 8. Definitely could have some good trade value for the Blue Jays at the deadline. Pivetta, 7 strikeouts in 5 innings pitched. Usually good, but no run support today. Tommy Hunter, 2 earned in 2/3 of an inning pitched for Philly. The Cardinals beat the Pirates 6-4. Your winning pitcher, Sam Tulivalia. Your losing pitcher, Michael Feliz. Bud Norris gets his 11th save of the year for the Cardinals. Austin Meadows goes 2 for 3 for Pittsburgh. Matt Carpenter, 2 for 4 for the Cardinals. Miles Nicholas, 4 earned in 6 innings pitched. Jameson Tylon, 3 earned in 6 1/3 innings pitched. Feliz, 3 earned in 1/3 of an inning pitched to cost them the game. And now St. Louis is in second place in the NL Central. The Brewers beat the Mets 8-7. Your winning pitcher, Boone Logan. Your losing pitcher, Jerry Blevins. Christian Yelich goes 3 for 5 for the Brew Crew today. As DeBral Cabrera hits his 8th home run of the year. Yolis Chassin, 5 earned in 6 1/3 innings pitched. Zach Wheeler, 4 earned in 6 innings pitched. And the Royals beat the Rangers 5-3. Your winning pitcher, Jason Hamill. Your losing pitcher, Cole Hamels. Not a good outing out of Cole Hamels today. 5 earned in 6 1/3 innings pitched. And Hamill could be one that could be moved on the cheap for Kansas City. Calvin Herrera gets his 11th save on the year. The Rockies beat the Reds 8-2. Your winning pitcher, German Marquez. Your losing pitcher, Matt Harvey. Joey Votto goes 2 for 3 for Cincinnati. Carlos Gonzalez 4 for 4. Tony Walters 2 for 3. And Cargo hits his 5th home run of the year. And yes, Arenado hits home run number 10. There's one thing about the Giants. They need to walk Arenado if by all means possible in this next series. And if not, bean him. Nah, we don't need to be beaning hitters getting into fights yet. And on the other side of the bay today, the A's beat the D-backs 2-1. Your winning pitcher making his major league debut today, Frankie Montas. Your losing pitcher, Zach Greinke, who just did not get any run support today. And Jonathan Lucroy hits his first home run as an Oakland A. And it looks like the A's are now only 5.5 games out of first place in the AL West. And you know what? If the A's can get, I don't know who Oakland plays next. Look at the A's schedule here. A's get the Rays next, so this could be another winnable series for Oakland. But oh wow, A's actually have a pretty favorable schedule coming up before they play Houston. But if they can rack up some wins here the next few weeks before getting into the playing against the AL West, I can't see why not the A's can make a run for the wild card this year. And down in LA today, the LA Dodgers beat the San Diego Padres 6-1. Your winning pitcher, Walker Buehler. Losing pitcher is Adam Simber. Jose Perella goes 3 for 4 for the Friars. Chris Taylor goes 2 for 3 for the Dodgers. Cody Bellinger hits his 8th home run of the season. Strom only goes 2 scoreless innings. Simber 2 earned and 2 innings pitched. Tyler Webb 4 earned and 1 inning pitched for the Padres today. And in Seattle today, the Mariners beat the Twins 3-1. Your winning pitcher, Mike Leake. Your losing pitcher, Jose Barrios. Alex Colon makes his first save for the Mariners today. Ben Gamble goes 3 for 4 for Seattle. Ryan Healy 3 for 4 for Seattle. Eddie Rosario goes 2 for 3 for the Twins. A tough loss for Barrios, 2 earned and 7 in the third innings pitched. Zach Duke gives up an earned run without recording an out. And Mike Leake actually had a good game for Seattle for once. But as we are approaching the month of June, we will be doing an if the season were to end today type of show on Friday. Just in time or if we might do it on Wednesday night, just in time for the trade deadline. And then tonight in the NBA, yes, unfortunately, the Cavaliers are going back to the NBA Finals. And I could care less to see LeBron James back in the finals. Just not a fan of LeBron. I'm sorry. And down on the farm, the Grizzlies get shut out by the Chihuahuas tonight, 22-0. Your winning pitcher, Eric Yardley. Your losing pitcher, Trent Thornton, only 2 earned and 6 innings pitched with 8 strikeouts. Tough loss there. And the Grizzlies only got 6 hits in the game, 2 for 4 by Bosniak. Boschanek, excuse me. And the Isotopes pound the River Cats today 11-2. Matt Gage takes one on the chin today for the River Cats. Steven Duggar goes 2 for 5. Hunter Pence 2 for 4. And it looks like he's ready for he's ready to return to the Giants. Ronnie Freeman 2 for 3. 4 runs, 2 earned for Gage. Manny Parra 2 earned runs. Ryan Halstead, welcome to the PCL, gives up 4 earned in 1 inning pitched. Josh Osich gives up an earned run, who I think is likely going to be DFA'd by the time Cueto returns. But yeah, it's Slater 1 for 4, hitting 358 now. Pence looks like he's ready to go again. But the rest of the lineup just does not look anywhere near ready to be up with the Giants, which kind of puts you in a sad state. This is hopefully something that Larry Bear and David Bell can address next year, and this is where the Giants absolutely, definitely needs to get better is scouting, or else this could be a lost decade coming up. But as I said, we'll find out what happens between now and the next 3 weeks. But they're critical. We hopefully we can come back and get home, get Bumgarner back. We definitely help us, Bumgarner. You're our only hope. Yeah, and maybe hopefully Samardzija can really find his command, get it together soon, or else the fire sale could be coming. Well, thanks for tuning in tonight. And if you, it's the truth. I know you don't want to hear the truth sometimes, but the truth can hurt. But this could be the sad truth in the next 2 to 3 weeks. You guys have a good night. Hopefully we'll be doing a special show tomorrow with it being Veterans Day. We're going to do a little bit of a salute to the troops tomorrow. So tune in. Thanks for tuning. Thanks for watching. Let's get that viewer traffic up. Everybody have a good night and have a happy Memorial Day tomorrow. Be on air tomorrow after you guys enjoy your dinner, and I'll have some tri-tip tomorrow. Things will be better, hopefully. Goodbye.